Welcome to today's meditation time. It is truly an honor to get to spend these few minutes both with you collectively and with myself, just really basking and marveling at this present moment. So as you settle in where you are, just allow the body just to become still in whatever way feels right for you. And then as the body becomes still and the eyes can gently close or your gaze can cast down, let's just each spend these first few breaths just checking in with the day. Just kind of survey the day, what went on this morning, this afternoon, this evening, and just get a sense of what all you engaged in, what all you did, what all you encountered. Almost like you're playing a tape. And just see the day. And then as you get a sense of just the remembering of these moments that just took place from the time you woke up until you sat down or laid down for meditation, now check in and just see how you feel. Whatever you've been through today, whatever you've experienced, whatever things made you tired, whatever things made you smile, just see, how do you feel in this moment? Physically, emotionally, energetically. And every now and then I like to just pause and just go through those just simple things to remind us that meditation doesn't ask us to show up and then just turn the mind off. It asks us to be so very aware of this present moment. And sometimes to cultivate that awareness, we've got to check in and see what all is playing in the tape in our head. Be aware of it. Know that it's there. So that in this moment of quiet that we'll experience, when those things begin to pop up, we're not taken by surprise, but instead, remember, I went through that today, and I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to come back to this present moment. And we check in with how we feel, because in the same way, when we grow quiet, inevitably, something from this emotional layer of who we are is going to pop up. A feeling, a sensation. And you can just check in and say, I remember my shoulders are tired. I've been carrying a lot. And here I am in this present moment. So as we have the sense of who we are and how we've shown up, let's be so very proud of the fact that we have. We don't often affirm ourselves. We're really good at affirming others, but just marvel at your commitment to this habit that you've put into your life. In our time today, we're going to look at habits. We're going to look at ways of being. We're going to look at our patterns. And we've just come through this journey of discovering and sitting with and just reflecting on these tenets called the yamas, these moral disciplines that teach us how to be in the world. And then in the yogic teachings, we have this kind of second chapter after the yamas called the Niyamas. And they're the personal teachings. Not really so much about what we do outwardly to the world, but how we take care of ourselves. And we started that off just really being aware. How was your day? How do you feel? Connecting to us. But the Niyamas teach us that how we care for ourselves is both a reflection of how we care for our world, as well as a reflection of what we allow from the world to come back toward us into our space. And so there's this really beautiful ebb and flow, this give and take, this way of being that reminds us that we don't live in isolation. We're part of something bigger. We are interconnected to each other, to the universe, to the energy that flows through the air and the wind that blows through the trees. And so we're going to sit for this first dip into the Niyamas and just look at this concept called SAUCHA. SAUCHA. It's the first of 5 Niyamas. And oftentimes when we look at these yogic teachings on the surface, we think, oh, I can check that one off. I've got it. I'm doing that. And SAUCHA is probably one of those, because what it means when you translate it at the root of the word is cleanliness. Cleanliness. We know that we have good hygiene. It's part of our culture, our society. There's expectations. We teach our children when they're growing up to wash their hands and cover their mouth when they sneeze and all the things. SAUCHA. Habits of hygiene, of cleanliness. But just like all these other yogic teachings, there's so much below the surface of just the translation of the word. And so as I asked you just to each think about what you've done today, let's go back to that tape. Look at that reel of what you've done today and just see, of all the things that you engaged in, which were acts that you could put in this category of SAUCHA? Or were the things that you did that could be counted as this cleanliness habit, way of being? And so as you check in, you kind of just take inventory and stock of the day. I want to take us on this journey of some of the things that we have probably all done today as they connect to our physical being, and see if we can find a correlation to how they also connect to our mind. Because SAUCHA was never intended just to be this discipline of hygiene. On a deeper level, it has to do with what goes on in our head. And so there's a really strong chance that at some point all of us today brushed our teeth. And whatever your normal schedule is in the morning, somewhere teeth brushing had a spot. And just think about that. You brush your teeth. And some of us, it's a habit. But the premise behind it is we're trying to get rid of the stuff from yesterday. Everything that we ate and we drank and we brought in that just kind of maybe sat there during the night. And so we get up in the morning and we brush it off so that yesterday stays in yesterday and we don't carry it around. It's a good habit. It's good hygiene. It's SAUCHA. But what about in your head? How often do you go into today letting the heaviness of yesterday just linger in your thoughts? You'd never think of just not brushing your teeth anymore, because you know that the health of your teeth needs you to keep pulling off all the stuff of yesterday's intake, getting rid of the germs and the potential for disease. But what about in your mind? How often do we hold on to yesterday and last week and last relationship stuff? And what does it do to the health of our mind, of our thoughts? What does it do to the clarity with which we make decisions? SAUCHA teaches us that just as much as we care for our teeth, we got to figure out a way to let go of the stuff that's lingering in our head as well. Just as those teeth will experience an unhealthy way of being, our mind will experience an unhealthy way of being as well. And so then there's another habit that I would venture to think that we've all done today, or we'll probably do before the day is over, and that's taking a shower or a bath. We get the soap and all the the tools and the things that you have in your bathroom, and you wash and you clean and you exfoliate and your skin is fresh. You wash your face. You scrub between your toes, all the things. But what do you do when it comes to the intake of your entertainment? The thing that takes up your time on your phone or on your TV or on your tablet. Are they things that keep your mind confused and angry and cloudy, or are they things that keep your mind sharp and clean and ready for the day? And it's not a judgment on your entertainment choices, not a judgment on what you spend your time doing, but it is something for us to think about. You'd probably never go more than a day or two without feeling clean and fresh. What about your intake? Is what you're bringing into your mind something that keeps you healthy and clean and fresh and ready? Or does it layer on confusion and chaos and noise? And then there's that final habit of what we all try really hard to do, and that's eating healthy. That's SAUCHA. It's not perfect, and sometimes it's really difficult in our society, but we do try. We try to put something green on our plate every now and then. We try to eat fresh. We look for the organic choices. We do all the things when it comes to our food, knowing that what goes in is either going to keep us healthy or not. And I would tell you that your meditation practice is like the food that goes into your body. It's a habit that nourishes you in the right way, like those green things on your plate do. It's the habit that contributes to your health, just like those organic choices do. And so if you're choosing this incredible habit, this form of SAUCHA, of a good, pure habit of meditation, maybe we could sit for these few minutes and think about those other habits and begin to just reflect on how SAUCHA could begin to inform them as well. The residue of yesterday, the stuff that needs to go, and then the new stuff that we're putting in today by what we spend our time scrolling through and looking at and engaging in and listening to. Again, it's not a judgment, but this teaching of SAUCHA, this Niyama, says we need to do things for ourselves that keep the outside clean and pure and the inside clean and pure. And then all of a sudden you start to feel how things are working together instead of against each other. None of us like it when we have confusion in our mind. None of us like it when we feel heavy in our spirit. And so let's just sit for these next couple of minutes together in the quiet and just see what is revealed in your head. And when the mind starts to wander, come back here to this present moment and just ask yourself, I would never stop brushing my teeth and taking a shower. So is there something in how I treat my mind that I might want to consider shifting, modifying just a little bit in the coming days? The holding on to the stuff, the residue in my head, as well as all the stuff that I'm bringing in every day. SAUCHA, cleanliness, purity. So let's just sit, and each of us, without guilt, without shame, just sit and notice what you feel as you stay open to the idea of shifting those patterns just a little bit. And as you continue to breathe and just notice whatever's coming across the mind's eye, I want us to go back to that idea of skipping our teeth brushing. Chances are that if something happens and you get busy and you get rushed, you forget and you head out to work or you head out to the grocery store and you remember you haven't brushed your teeth. I have a feeling that in those moments that follow, you'll smile less. You'll talk and engage less just because of how you feel from not having brushed your teeth. And it sounds so silly, but when you've got this heaviness, this residue of yesterday in your mind, filling up your thoughts, I would also imagine that you smile less and you engage less. And so just imagine on those mornings that you brush your teeth and you walk out of the house and you're ready to smile. You're ready to speak, you're ready to engage. What if you could approach the day with your mind feeling the same way? Cleared out, ready to smile and embrace the day and engage with the people and interact in a way that really reflects your heart. And then just imagine on those days that you skip a shower, you forget, or you're rushed and there's just a lot going on. You're always conscious about if anybody notices, and you're probably not as forthcoming in your hugs or your handshakes or being near people. The same thing happens when we bring things in that just make us feel not good. These things that cause confusion in our mind, these things that make us angry, that make our emotions feel violent. So just imagine how you'll interact with the world when that's what you're bringing in. The world deserves the very best of our ability to show up every day. We each have these gifts to share. We have these versions of ourselves that exist inside with this light that we each have, and the world deserves to see that. With the teeth brushed and the body clean and the healthy food choices. But even more so, with the clear, open mind, done with yesterday, living in the here and now, and with the mind and the presence that has no confusion but has clarity of thought. They can share, they can live out their purpose The world needs that because no one else is living out your purpose. So as you begin to just kind of look at your habits over the coming days, I encourage you not to skip brushing your teeth, but just think, what in this holding on from yesterday residue might I consider being done with this metaphorical brushing of the teeth in my mind? And what in my choices of my intake, the entertainment, the news feed, the social media, even the conversations with the people at work, what might I consider pulling away from so that there is brightness in my mind that reflects the brightness in my spirit? That is the intention of SAUCHA. It's not dogma to remind us to bathe and shower. It's a teaching that we deserve and the world deserves the very best, brightest, purest version of ourselves every single day. SAUCHA. Namaste.